into College is in its 15th, 15th year at Woodside. And the reason it keeps happening is because it keeps working. What March into College is four workshops. They are every Wednesday in March, and you can see the calendar right here. We are going to start on March 6th. We are going to be talking about how to make a great college list, how it's going to be fitting for you, and how it's going to be the best it can be in terms of what you want, what the student wants, and what the student is hoping for. Then, when we get to March 13th, it's completely different. The second one, we are going to show you the Common App, and we are going to show you all the different sections, and we are going to point out the parts where students are a little bit stressed or questioning about some things, and we are just going to clear them up for you. So there's going to be none of that worry once you start working on the application this summer or at the beginning of senior year. We're also going to do the UC application the same night on the 13th. So we'll do the Common App and then we'll do the UC app. Then we get to March 20th. You are going to be an admissions officer. Last year, this session was probably the most popular and exciting section, just because what we did is we gave students and parents applications that are complete. All the data was there, all the writing was done, and we gave them the number of minutes that an admissions officer usually takes to read an application, which is 7 minutes. And so we went through four applications, and it was so interesting to see how some people interpreted them one way and other people interpreted them another way. And it was just so helpful in terms of what was influential and what would be important as the student is working on the application. So that is the 20th. Then we get to the very last March into College. That is March 27th. We are going to talk a lot about financial aid, a lot about college money, a lot about scholarships, and things that you could do over the summer to make senior year a lot less stressful. Okay, so we are going into junior classes right now. That's what I did all day today and yesterday. And one of the first things that we tell the juniors is say, we know that you're probably making a college list, and not only are you making a list, but you're probably making a spreadsheet. And so, because we know that that happens, what we did was there is an acronym that we say, great, make your college list, make your spreadsheet for sure, but make sure the spreadsheet has all of the elements of this acronym. The acronym is CLASS, and every single letter in the word are the elements that need to be a part of your spreadsheet. The C in CLASS is cost. That is very important. Of course, I'm talking to you as a parent and as a mom and as a college counselor, so I know how important money is. Ms. Vasquez, I think, feels the same way. We know that it is pivotal. So that is the C in CLASS. The L is location. I say to the juniors, okay, you're leaving Woodside. Woodside is totally free. Where you're going is probably not. Is it comfortable for your family? That's the C, but the L is location. Where do you want to be when you're doing all of the things that you're going to be doing after senior year? Where's your location? Is it California? Is it Northern California? Is it Southern California? Is it somewhere else in the U.S.? Location is the L of class. The A of class is okay. So you're probably going to be spending money. You're probably going to be, hopefully, somewhere that you love. And what are you going to do there? You are going to study a lot and learn a lot and build a lot of skills and gain a lot of knowledge. That's the A in class. That is academics. When you put your spreadsheet together, every school that goes on your spreadsheet should have programs for the academics you want, whether that's sociology or psychology or kinesiology, so many ologies, um, or whatever it is that you want to learn about, that's the A, that's the academics. Then the first S in class is size. There are some very small schools. There are schools there have their colleges that have like 2 or 3 thousand students, and they are very, I would say, personal, because there are so many adults to reach out to students and support students because they're tiny. And some students are like, that's what I need. Other students are like, heck no, I want a huge school. I want 35,000 kids. And it's totally fine if some adults think of me as a number, as an ID number. That's okay. I just want the big school because there's so many opportunities there. There's so many possible friends there. And there's so many opportunities of things that I can do and things that I can learn. The very last S of class is social, just because sure, you are going to college to learn so much and build so many skills and gain so much knowledge, but you want to have fun too. So social is important. So when you put a college on your spreadsheet, you say to yourself, what's important to me in terms of the fun I want to have? I want to hear good music. I want to be able to participate in lots of diverse activities. I think sports are huge. Um, the schools on my list are going to have sports because that's how I'm going to be social. So just make sure that your class, which is um, needs to be a part of everybody's list, but some of the letters are more important than others. Like some people think C is the most important letter because cost is such a huge opportunity for a huge deal for their families, and some people think A is the most important just because they're like, I want to do, for example, kinesiology, and it's not everywhere. So you just want to make sure that you are maybe not spelling out class because there's you have different priorities, but you have all of the elements on your spreadsheet. The answer is yes. So here is how Woodside is set up. Woodside has 6 school counselors. They used to be called guidance counselors. Now they are called school counselors. They they don't focus on college, although they are extremely helpful with so many of the different elements in college. Also, now that the foundation has been so generous with us, there are 3 college advisors. We are different than school counselors because we are completely focused on colleges. There are 3 of us. I'm one, Miss Montefiore, Miss Vasquez, who is here, is another one, and Mr. Gill, who is actually at school himself tonight, is our third one. And we are the people who can help you very, very consistently. And that is our focus, is to help the students with college. And so many people are like, you know what though? Um, I need a private college counselor, and I need a private college counselor because I just need somebody who's going to help my students and keep them on track and remind them of things and inspire them. And that is totally fine if that needs to happen through a private person, but it also can happen at Woodside as well. There's 3 college advisors, there's 6 school counselors. They have absolutely everything that a student would need. I don't know, you can't see me now because my video is crazy. Um, and I think Miss Vasquez isn't on video either, but if you could see us, you could see we are very old and wise people, and we have been doing this for years. And we've been to, when I say years, I've been doing this since 2008. We've been to so many college conferences. We've had so many students. We've interacted with so many reps who come to Woodside in the fall, and we are totally ready to support and help the students. Miss Vasquez, what can you add to that?
Uh, I definitely second your response, and I also want to say that, especially when it comes to determining whether or not a scholarship or a summer program, is a valuable opportunity or is it a potential marketing ploy, we've been encouraging juniors already as we've been meeting with them to check in with us and
With you, we are also sharing with the students. Okay, go ahead.
all right. Okay. So using the class criteria that we've introduced, we have our sample student, Sophia, who definitely has some concerns about cost, would like to stay in California, is not sure about her interests, but knows that it would be great to be at a big school, have a Greek life, and she has a very lovely 3.7 GPA. Things we want to consider, and it's really great. Someone actually asked a question about GPA and thinking about what else besides grades. Depending on the system or the type of college in California that Sophia wants to apply to, for sure, students have the opportunity with the UC statements to be able to provide context, to talk about valuable and important experiences and activities and their motivations. Certainly with the Common App, they also do as well. And, you know, is it true that I'm not going to be able to get into a good college if I don't have at least a 4.2? No. We have lots of students who do not have 4.2s who get into great colleges that really match their interests and desires and their priorities. The key, though, is that Sophia is representative of many students who aren't really sure exactly what they'd like to major in. And so this is a student who, for sure, we would love to meet this semester because we would like to explore their strengths, their career interests, and opportunities that they have not considered, and maybe point them in the direction of maybe a community college class or summer program to do more exploration. Ms. Modevel, anything else you'd like to add on this?
So we are showing you a few of the Bitmojis that we shared with the students only because the whole goal of tonight is saying, is March into College going to be useful for you? So if you can relate to some of the kids, all of the kids that we're about to show you would certainly benefit from March into College. And we're hoping that you can connect with them. And then you will see that March into College is going to be great for you as well. Okay.
So, thinking about Naviance, some of our students hopefully remember that they've been using this every so often. Our counselors have gone in to help them with some of the career exploration tools. Your students can log in with their school email and then sit with you and take a look at some of these great opportunities and resources. For one thing, Naviance is especially important for students applying to private colleges and using the Common App. They're able to link this account with their Common App and ensure that their Woodside transcripts and recommendation letters are delivered. But they're not going to need to do that link until after August the 1st, when applications are updated by the colleges. Though they can start their Common App account, and we'll talk about that in a March into College session. Right now, we'd love for students to be able to start exploring using the college search tool Supermatch and potentially create a colleges I'm thinking about list that can easily move over to their actual application list. Later on, they're going to be able to request recommendation letters, complete a letter of rec survey. But as you can see, there are many other resources. If I'm not sure, like Sophia, about what I'd like to do, there are a lot of great tools to explore and research different careers. Another important tool, some of you have been asking about scholarship resources, and so we try to update our scholarship database of sources that we know that are credible. And then another important resource here are college visits. So here you'll be able to see which colleges are coming to visit. And to answer one of the questions that was posted, we had a huge range of different types of schools. We've had CSU, UC campuses. We've also had fantastic private colleges all across the country. We hosted a pretty huge college rep visit for both Brown and USC. Ms. Modevel, who else am I missing? Chicago, Michigan?
Both of them, yes. Chicago and Michigan. So we had like over, I would say 60 visits this year from reps. So there was not a day there. They always come in the fall, always. And that happened in September and October, we had 60s. Then they stopped coming, not because they don't love us, they totally love us, but they have to read applications, and that's what they're starting to do in November. But between September and October, we got a lot of reps.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so now we have Michael. Michael is open to a college anywhere in the US. Cost is not a factor. But the academics, there is a focus. They're interested in film, but they're otherwise pretty flexible, other than looking for a school with good live music and a lovely, healthy GPA of a 3.8. This student is going to have a pretty exciting time creating that college list. And one question that was asked is how many colleges students apply to and what kind of a list they create, how many colleges do they consider. Michael's a great example of someone who would definitely benefit from attending our first session and trying to begin to evaluate the merits of certain schools and begin to assess, if I'm looking for film, that'll be a must-have in my search tools. But at that point, then, do I look for maybe location or certain hubs that have lots of great, musical resources and engagement? So those are things to consider, and we definitely would love to have Michael come to our first session. Ms. Model?
I want Michael to come to every session. But
Okay.
yes, specifically the first one would be great for him. And again, we're showing you these students only because we're saying maybe these students have some similarities with what your student or students what you're going through, and it's so helpful, to go to Merchant of College. We're seeing a lot now. We're seeing so many details, but at the Merchant of College sessions, it is much more organized and much more focused. So instead of just a little bit here and a little bit there, we absolutely can support you with the information you need on the different nights. Okay.
All right. So we have quite a few questions about testing in our survey. So let me go ahead and process them through this slide. So hopefully your students were able to take a look at their PSAT scores. If you weren't able to see that, you can email us and we can send you the score report if your student took the PSAT. A couple things to consider. Colleges are not going to see this PSAT score, so hopefully students are not stressed about that. And in terms of whether or not to take the SAT, a number of parents or guests tonight are wondering, do we need to consider it? How many colleges are looking at the SAT? In California, the CSU and UC system, they're both test blind, so the SAT or ACT would only be used for placement. With that said, Berkeley has admitted that they do look at AP scores. And for students who are thinking about attending an international school, somebody was asking about going to McGill, for example. That would be fantastic. I'd love to go to McGill too.
Me too.
They international schools will definitely like to usually see SAT scores. If we're thinking about UK, then they're going to want to look at AP scores, at least three, and sometimes they will specify minimum scores on those AP exams. We know that there are certain schools that have turned to the SAT again, like MIT, but there are some schools that are test optional. And so we encourage our students, once they have a list and we start going through and evaluating, okay, do I need to prepare for the SAT and take it? We look to see, do they have the time to prepare for this test? Are they a good test taker? And even then, you can still take the test, not send the scores right away, and look and see. And one great tool that we use, we will look at the common data set for a college, and we can see what was the median score. Though some schools like Chapman are great about advertising what the average SAT score was for their admitted student profile. So we can see, are we at or above that score? Then it'd be a great opportunity to send it. But if we're not, and it's a test optional school, then we don't have to stress about it. I've definitely been hearing the frustration of some families who've been searching for SAT spots. Ms. Model, you've had that adventure too, right?
Yes. So the parents and the students that we're talking to now are obviously juniors or junior related. And so I've got a junior right here in my house. She's my daughter, and to try to find a testing site for her, that was a huge, I would say, mission. We've had to go through so many different possibilities on College Board. And yes, it's a tight situation simply because there's not as many sites available now. And one reason that's true is because so many colleges are not prioritizing the tests anymore. And so College Board is like, you know what? We're just not going to give it as it in many places. So we're all driving. We are all going to drive off to wherever we need to be able to take the SAT.
Yeah, I've been resorting to finding zip codes, starting with a zip code in Davis or Santa Cruz, and then looking 100 miles out from those locations to see if I could find some test sites. Now, as far as when one should consider taking the SAT, obviously we're still trying to find a spot. If we're stressed about that, please note that the priority comes more into play if a student is interested in applying early action or early decision. With that said, we had quite a few students who applied early action and took the SAT on College Day that's offered at Woodside on our campus, and they were fine. Ms. Motteville, did you hear any challenges for people who are applying early?
N- No, I think that we're okay. And
Yeah.
like we said, if in case something doesn't work out this semester, know that in October of next year we will have the SAT, just like it says on this. Cost issue is that she's got some concerns. Her L, where does she want to be? She wants to be in California. She doesn't want to go anywhere. And that is very common, and that's totally fine. What does she want to study? What's her A? What's her academics? She wants to study nursing. Nursing is something that a lot of students are interested in. The issue with nursing is that the programs that do exist, and the nursing programs are absolutely not at every college, simply because there's not enough teachers. There's not enough professors. Nurses want to be nurses. They don't want to teach. So the programs, there are good programs, and there are professors, and there are teachers. Um, but for Chelsea, we are going to say, okay, sweetheart, your GPA is a little bit on the lower side, the 2.3, but the good news is that you're so flexible. I can see that the size, and I can see that you want diversity. For Chelsea, and I do not say this for a ton of kids, but for her especially, her interest and her GPA, I'm wondering if she might want to start at a community college. If she does, awesome. If she doesn't, there are certainly other possibilities, but she might have to adjust a few parts of her class. For example, the University of Utah, huge nursing program. But I look at her Ella and I'm like, okay, that says California. Is is there any way I can have her open her mind to some other possibilities? And sometimes that's possible, and sometimes it's not. Um, I'm really grateful that we are at Woodside every day to support with the students with whatever it is that they are hoping for, even if it's not exactly what they imagined at the start. It is another student who I talked to so many classes about today. Okay, I'm looking at David. He seems great. So I look at his class. He has got a lot of concerns about the C, about the cost. Totally fine. Where does he want to be? He's not like Chelsea. He's like, you know what? California would be great, but any of the other states would be great too. He's very open to lots of possibilities across the country. His A is that he's interested in computer programming. I could make probably 500 Davids just because there is so much interest in computer programming. It's 2024. Everything is on the screen. So David could probably help me with the craziness of Zoom and all sorts of other things because that's his A. He's flexible in terms of the size, so maybe a small school or maybe a big school. And in terms of S, he really wants diversity. Can we help him find a school that meets all of his criteria, all of his things that he really is hoping for? We absolutely can. His GPA is a 2.9. What that is not going to prohibit him from doing a lot of different possibilities in colleges, including computer programming. Would a march into college be helpful for David, who has cost concerns, who is interested in computer programming, who wants to be anywhere in the US? Could the set march into college sessions be helpful to him? Of course, yes. Okay, so then we have one more kid. I think Elizabeth is our last example kid.
Mhm.
Um, Elizabeth, I look at her class, it's not like David or Chelsea at all. Her S is that she has some concerns. I've actually seen that before with the other students that we've presented. She's got some class concerns. That's fine. We all do, including, not we all do, many of us do. Um, and that's fine. The L, the location, Elizabeth, like another kid that I already talked about, she wants to stay in California. Her A, her academics, she wants to be an engineer. Her S, again, we talked about big schools and small schools. She wants a big school. Okay, Elizabeth, we can help you with that. And she really wants to make sure that whatever big school she's at, there is a lot of live sports that she can be a part of watching and a part of having fun with. We can absolutely help her because she is saying, I'm really focused on California. I was like, listen, Elizabeth, please come to all the merchant colleges, but especially merchant college number 2, just because we are going to show the UC application and we're going to show the different sections and we're going to say, this is the part that you might not have to worry about it all. You can just get it done. Here are the parts that you might need to take some time doing, but we're starting in March, so we can talk about that. We can figure it out, so we can use all the time that's necessary. So that is Elizabeth, and that is her class. And should she come to Merchant College? She should come to every Merchant College, just like all the juniors who are interested in four-year college, but she should specifically come to the second one.
Okay, so we've had some questions about what students can do now and how summer can be used effectively. So we'll definitely talk about a lot of details, but hopefully you have seen something of the junior newsletter that was sent out. The junior newsletter included resources about programs sponsored by colleges that are hosted on their campus site this summer. Some are residential, some are not. And the great opportunity for our students is that in some cases they can actually test drive a college. So let's say I have a student who's interested in STEM and they're really interested in UC San Diego or UC Irvine. They could apply for the Cosmos program, live on campus for 4 weeks, and explore a really cool class that we might not even be able to offer. In the newsletter, you'll also be able to read up on different internship opportunities. There were 3. There's one for NASA, there was a Stanford internship, and there's also one for students interested in psychology and in sort of therapy counseling careers with the Star Vista paid internship. We also want to encourage students to take community college classes. It's a great way to explore subjects that they might not be able to do here at Woodside, but they can also take GE requirements and get ahead. What's really fantastic is that students can take a college class, get a taste of college life, and also be able to explore and confirm their interests. Another good thing to consider, work, volunteering. We're going to start to get more of those as we get closer, but we did want to make sure that students and parents were aware of some of the selective opportunities that have due dates coming up. So that's why you received this newsletter with some of the Stanford internships and summer programs. Those require personal statements. They require a letter of recommendation by a current teacher. They may also require a PSAT score. So those are things you want to start exploring now. We'll definitely send another newsletter with more opportunities for more internships, and as more summer programs come online, we'll definitely take a look at that. Another thing that's really important in the newsletter, we did include links to different resources, not just reminding them about Naviance, but also looking at Common App and also the College Board, so they can start their Common App account. They could research colleges. They can actually take a look at the UC PIQs and personal statements and begin thinking, how would I respond to these prompts and what could I say? So those are some great opportunities, and we'll definitely share more of those with you. One thing to consider again, if you start to get lots of, interest from various companies saying, come to our summer program, you're welcome to check in with us, and we're happy to, and do some investigation and check and see if this is an opportunity or if there's another comparable opportunity available to you elsewhere. So we'll definitely do our best with these newsletters, and what we'll do is we'll post copies of the newsletters on the Woodside website in the College and Career Center, so you can refer to them if you're like, oh, what was that internship that so-and-so talked about? So we'll have those references. Interesting, I just got a question here asking about portfolio for art programs. Actually, I started a spreadsheet for another junior who is interested in applying to art schools and programs that do require portfolios. So obviously I consult with the expert, Ms. Martin, and check in with her, but then we look at the different portfolio requirements and try to get a sense of what are the common, skill sets that need to be demonstrated and supported. And it's really great when students come back and they say, oh, I got into Cal Poly's graphic design program or photography program or another program. So we definitely hope that you'll be able to check in with us if you have questions about any summer options, or you want to think about this, because especially with concurrent enrollment, it could be a great way for students to have some balance rather than thinking that we need to do 4 APs senior year, if that is really not in a reasonable decision. If students have other things, maybe they have work, maybe they have other commitments, family responsibilities. So we definitely would love to sit down with your students and check in. And all right. And we did have some questions about SAT and resources and how we can get some help. So, hot off the press from our principal, here's the latest of what we've heard. So, for students who are looking for SAT or ACT prep, there are definitely resources available, but it would be really great if we could find out, for example, if you or if someone you know is interested in getting some support for the March 9th test. We would need to know about that right away if we want to offer some support classes. As you can see, there are other opportunities for test prep, so those are things we'd love to be able to connect with you about. And thanks to the foundation, we have a lot more opportunities for essay writing workshops. And while students, often stress out about, oh, don't I need to have 25 different activities to get into a good college? Somebody was asking about, for example, is there anything else? How much do sports help? We definitely can say that obviously there are some students in this year's senior class, right, Ms. Motiville, who have gained acceptance to universities thanks to their exceptional athletic achievement. But that's not the only way to get into college, right?
It's definitely not. So what colleges always say, we are looking at the application holistically. And what they mean by that is that they are looking not just at one part of the application, not just the academics, not just the activities, not just the essays, um, not just the testing, if they even consider testing. They are looking at the whole application. So it's okay if one part is not as incredibly strong as all of the other parts.
That also offer interviews. And so we like to, check in with students, and if they, let's say they have like Harvey Mudd or something on their list, we know that Harvey Mudd offers interviews. And so we're going to remind students, hey, did you already check on the website? See if you can make an interview with an alum. That communication is really important. and to address a question I received here about communicating. We definitely want to communicate with both students and their families. We have opportunities, you can book an appointment with us and we can, have everybody there. And so students can hear and families and parents and guardians can also have their questions answered and asked. So we try to have a lot of different channels for communication. Right, Ms. Monteval?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know that we are almost at the end of our slides and almost at the end of this preview for March into College. But before we let you go, I just wanted to say that the college admission process seems stressful and hard and kind of nightmarish, but it's so survivable, and we absolutely will support the Woodside kids. There are so many of us at Woodside who are going to give out information, answer questions, support the students with whatever they need. And then when they actually get to college, it is so worth all of the work and all of the stress and all of the labor, just because college is an amazing time and we are working hard and helping the students get where they absolutely want to be so they can have that great time. It's the other thing that I wanted to say is you do have so much support at Woodside. You basically have private college counselors at Woodside for free. But obviously, there are so many other possibilities as well. You could have both. And so, no matter what you decide to do, it doesn't matter one way or the other. We hope that if you are thinking about a four-year college, you could hear Ms. Vasquez talking about so many details. You could hear me talking about so many details. And at March into College, we can give you the information in a very direct, organized, focused way. So we hope that you're going to be able to come. So what is January 24th right now. We've got a whole month of February before March into College starts. These slides are going to be shared with everybody so you can have the schedule for the March into College sessions that are coming up in a month, and you can have our email of all the college advisors at Woodside, just in case you need some support or some questions answered more so than what we did tonight. This was honestly just a really quick general overview. There's so much more that we can share with you that will help you with the whole college admissions process. And however stressful it seems or however huge it seems, just remember it's all to come to a good end because college is so much fun where you learn so many important things, skills, and knowledge, and everything to prepare you for life as it goes on. Okay, Ms. Vasquez, do you want to say something before we end up going?
Sure. So we have quite a few questions about being able to sign up for some of these boot camps. Please know that there's going to be more communication about, signing up for the camps and the different programs. But if you're interested in some of the ones that are coming up very soon, please go ahead and send us an email so we can forward that, or you can send it directly to Mrs. Van Putten. The main thing is we definitely would love to hear from you and talk to you as soon as possible. Certainly March is great, but if we can, meet with you sooner, that'd be great. And for maybe like one more question or two more questions.
Absolutely.
Okay, all
Absolutely.
right. Okay, so we have some families asking about just thinking about college costs and affordability. I know we're going to talk a lot more in detail. Ms.
March
Waddle
into
knows I
College
will.
Tour.
Yes. Is there something they could start looking at?
Oh, if you're concerned about the cost of colleges,
Hmm.
what do you think, Miss Vasquez? I'm like, we are in January of junior year.
Hmm.
Um, there are certainly many options. What we will do is, so we are going to send you these slides, and we are
Mhm,
going to send you, um, absolutely, what we shared with the juniors in the classes in the past
mhm,
couple of weeks, and we will share along with that, some advice and facts, about, the financial aid and the costs.
mhm.
So you will be able to see everything before we get to March into College number 4, which is not till March 27th.
Right. But, definitely, if you have specific questions, let us know. And remember that the March into College sessions are going to be for parents, guardians, and students. So we want everyone to kind of have a good sense of the information, especially when it comes to, understanding things like, for example, how important, do I have to need to worry about activities, right? All the other things besides my grades and my coursework. We're going to take you through the actual evaluation process so you can see firsthand, right? When you're faced with a transcript of grades and test scores or grades and recommendation letters and personal statements, what is persuasive? And given the fact that, for example, with the UC application, you've got readers averaging about 7 minutes, whereas, we're sitting with students spending quite a bit more than 7 minutes to support them and creating a fantastic application. We definitely want to offer students as many resources and insights as possible to create the strongest applications they can. And then another question, um, how about touring colleges? Somebody brought up the fact that, some of the students are going to get to do the upcoming trip, which Ms. Motteville is going to be attending, right?
I'm so excited.
But if I can't get on that SoCal trip, could you give families some tips about what else we can do to tour colleges?
Well, so much of what's good now actually
Mhm,
came out of the pandemic because nobody could visit any colleges during the pandemic. And so, what the colleges did
mhm,
is they created their own videos of their campuses with student commentary and with student leaders. And so, that's a really, if you can't go to a college because that's costly to go visit all of
mhm,
those colleges, you can absolutely look at the videos. And you heard Miss Vasquez talk about the newsletter. In the newsletter, one of the links is to some of the great electronic college tours. And again, I already said that we're going to send you these slides, and I will send you some financial information with that. And we will also, now that you are asking about this, we will also send you some electronic college tours that are great. Some of them not so great. We don't send those, but we'll send you the ones that look great and tell you a lot. Anything or go beyond the deadline. We need somebody else to push uh, the student, and so I would say absolutely, you can have that. I would say I don't think that we will push the student, but we will remind the student all the time,
mhm,
whatever deadlines are coming up, that they for sure want to meet. Um,
mhm.
we will arrange timelines that way for yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. And so, yes, just to recap, we have folks asking about the different SAT prep dates and so forth. So, we're going to send this presentation out, and you will be receiving more information about signups, right, for the future events, the boot camps that are happening later, and the test prep that are happening later. But I've already seen a few folks who've already indicated interest in attending a prep workshop for the March 9 test date. So, we'll definitely share that with Mrs. Van Putten.
Okay. So the next email that we are going to send out is
Mhm.
going to be kind of big, um,
Yes.
but it's going to address everything that you are asking about during today's preview. And just remember that that's all today is just like a little bit of what is coming up super soon. But we're glad that you are here. And most importantly, I can see there were 70 people here, and that is a
Wow.
lot. And now
Yay.
there's 69. So, oh my gosh, one person left, and that is because we are very near. 8 o'clock. And so I think most importantly, to end with just thank you so
Mhm.
much. Thank you for being here. Obviously, we hope to see you in person at Marchenda College. And before then, to communicate with us through email, um, in or Zoom in any way that we can help you out and get you started. Feeling good about what's coming up soon because it's going to be fun and it's going to be important and you're going to get everything that you need.
Okay. And yes, thank you so much again. And if you didn't receive the junior newsletter, please let us know because that means that we should probably check to make sure we have the correct email on file for you. We definitely would love to make sure we can keep you up to date on everything. So thank you so much again.
Okay. Thank you again.
Okay. Good
Good night.
night.